welcome to Heart Drive 32. As I, Alex Holken, I'm going to give you a status update for Project Basidium because there's a lot to catch up on. I know it's like already mid-August and there hasn't been a July update on the game, but that's because there's a lot of personal stuff going on in my life and a lot of dev side of things that I want to catch you up on. So to begin on the personal side of things, I had a pretty busy August. I had to work on a little independent magazine for a client that was due at the end of the month. Got that all wrapped up, which was great. But while that was all going down, we were cleaning and prepping our house and just trying to make as much room as possible for a new baby because we had a new kiddo join our life. So now I have 3 members of the Wolken family, 3 boys total. And so we're a very busy, full household. That went awesome. He's doing great. And it's been a really crazy time just with the 2 other older kiddos and the newborn. But things were going awesome. And I did get a lot of dev time in and came to some realizations. So here's the big one, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Project Basidium did not begin as a parkour survival horror. In fact, it was an entirely different genre. And when it first began, it was actually a visual novel combined with an on-rail shooter. Because if you were to look at my Steam catalog as to what I play, more often than not, I'm playing a lot of visual novels. I love things like Danganronpa, which turns the idea of conversations into a battle with other people, like a battle of wits. I love Paranormal Sight because it has great camera work and takes 2D elements and makes them feel alive and as if you, the player, are inside the environment. And it also has a lot of cool meta commentary, which you'd have to play. But those sort of games are what inspired Project Basidium to begin with, because I love the gameplay elements of them. Scratch that. I love the storytelling side of things, but I didn't quite like the gameplay elements within those games. So for example, we'll take Danganronpa. Danganronpa, the storyline is awesome. The core room scene's excellent. But when you are moving from place to place, just trying to get to the next investigation moment or the next storyline beat, it's a really kind of poor first-person controlling game. I wouldn't call it a shooter, it kind of is, but mostly a first-person exploration game, a walking sim for that portion. So my thought was, what if I were to take the combat elements of, say, an on-rail shooter, think House of the Dead, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles, or even Star Fox to some extent, and mixed in the narrative choices and branching paths, both in the story sense as well as just the generally moving around in a level, and combine those two. So kind of doing the best of both worlds. The narrative elements of a visual novel and the action elements of an on-rail shooter. And that project was actually going really good. I worked on it for 3 months. It was excellent, but I was concerned. This is my first big project by my lonesome as an indie dev, which, by the way, as this game goes and it looks cool, please contact me if you want to help. I don't mind, because right now, what I'm trying to do is get a polished game, and that's what scared me when I was working on the visual novel, because with visual novels, they're very story heavy, they're very content driven. You have to have a lot of writing done, you have to have cinematics, all sorts of unique production things. So what I mean by that is, if you were to take a Pac-Man game or any other kind of arcadey game like Tetris, whatever pops in your head that you think of for an arcade game, those are mechanically simple and sophisticated, of course, but you're creating a gameplay loop that's short. When you play a round of Tetris, it's a fairly short experience in which you're just stacking the blocks over and over again until you lose, and then you restart and you do that again. With visual novels, you are constantly progressing a plot forward, you're constantly encountering new cinematics, and so there's a lot of unique challenges with creating that. So I was intimidated when I was working on the visual novel crossed with an on-rail shooter. I was like, that's a lot for me to make, both in story and cinema, the cutscenes. So I was like, I'm going to do something smaller that is a survival horror parkour game. The problem is, while I was working on it, there was nothing unique about it, or there was no gimmicks or hooks that were entirely interesting or match the spirit of what I wanted to do in the first place, which was to make a very story-driven horror game that had great gameplay between those big story beats. So I've decided to make the call to go back to the original vision for Project Basidium because it's what I was passionate about. Things like the setting, the storyline I was going to create, that all remains the same. That all remains the same. And in fact, I'm just going back to my old prototype and I'm going to push forward on it because it's what I'm passionate about. I think it's something unique and different, which is what we need more of in the gaming landscape. And so I'm going back to the original concept of an idea. Now, what that means as far as these videos go is it won't be until September that you guys see the updated version of it. I'm polishing some of the combat elements of it. It's going to be very bare bones when you see it, but it is progressing, which it was before. But like I said, I got intimidated. So that is what I'm pursuing in the future. And I can't wait to show you guys off a little bit of what I'm trying to go for. And I also want to say in the future, there will be a lot more shorter videos that are produced and put on this channel. I think doing the monthly updates for the games is both can be a little labor intensive, and as well as it's not very exciting, if I'm being honest, whenever there isn't like a big update, like some sort of big gameplay feature added to the game or some sort of cinematic or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I have planned a number of short little kind of like series that I want to do on the channel. Things like From the Heart, which is just me telling a story from my indie dev days, or working at a small indie studio, or honestly just things to like pick you guys up, give you hope, make you feel good. And then maybe some episodes will be out just showing off concept art for the game. Essentially, each of these will be shorter videos that are just giving you a little snippet of the game or a little bit about myself or even what I'm playing at the moment, and have those released more regularly and not make them kind of like a editing headache for myself. So I'm really excited to show you guys the next direction for the game. It's awesome. I was loving what I was making for the prototype initially, where I wasn't as excited and pumped about the survival horror thing. So you guys will see that here soon. And in the meantime, I hope you like those little short videos that I'm gonna start uploading here in the future, and have a great day. Ciao.